everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Hardcore series. As you saw in that time lapse, we have cleared out this entire front area, the kind of front garden if you like of my starter build. I managed to get rid of most of the trees. As you can see, I've left some over there and I've left some over there as well. This is to kind of draw your eye more to the center point of this entire area, which is going to be just where the waterfront is there. This area is going to be for a few more kind of starter farms, just little things that I need to kind of get myself going a little bit more. And then obviously once we move over to our mega base area, all these farms are going to get mega upgraded. This actually took a surprising amount of time. Jungle biomes do tend to be very dense and it is quite time consuming in order to get them looking a lot more flat. So as I say, this is going to be a really nice area to have a few more farms, and we might step it down a little bit more as we go further towards the waterfront. There's some more space down here to have some more farms, some space there. As you can see here, I've got some more bamboo growing because I may update this world to 1.20. I haven't fully decided yet, but if I do decide to update to 1.20, bamboo is going to be a major necessity. But as you can see, these areas are coming along quite nicely. For anybody that's relatively new to the channel, that is my starter base down there. I've got my sugarcane farm there. I've got iron farm up there. That's a YouTuber called Wattles' design. And then I've got the creeper farm there. Nice beacon. All this mess here was to get the villagers into the iron farm up there. They aren't rendered in. There we go, they're nice and rendered in now. But this all needs cleaning up and I will get around to it at some point. I've got a lot of different things going on at the moment. And there's this dirt bridge as well that I need to get rid of as well. But as I say, if you are new to this channel, let me just give you a very quick tour of my starter base. So obviously this is a more hobbit hole style build. I was going for a little bit more of an arch/rounded vibe. It came off relatively well, but I'm sure for the next design, if I ever come up with something like this again, there's definite room for improvements. But as we go inside, we've got this nice long corridor. And then here on a soul campfire, I've got the egg, the dragon egg that I won from defeating the Ender Dragon. Here we've got my enchanting table, just a little alcove, nothing really too special. In here is the villager trader hall. So I've got some librarians doing mending, there's fortune 3, and a few other necessities. There was a few necessities that I was actually missing, but I managed to get the rest of those enchantments from the actual enchanting table. Other than that, we've got armorers, we've got weaponsmiths, we've got toolsmiths, cartographers, clerics, and stonemasons. And then finally, in this room, we have my storage system. It is just manual, nothing too fancy. Most of the valuables are in this chest, and we've got some decent food in this one. I keep topping up every now and again. My golden carrots I actually get from the farmers, which are across the way in the village. I decided to not actually have the farmers in this trader hall section, mainly because I wanted to free up the space for these other guys. I wanted a few more librarians, because I do think librarians are pretty OP. But if I do find myself in need of some more golden carrots, I can just run over to the villager breeder over there and just get as many as I need. So what's the itinerary for today's episode, I hear you ask? Well, first off, we're going to go to the Nether and make a start mapping out and clearing out a space for our Nether Hub. Secondly, we're going to go and explore a couple of fortresses. I want to get 3 more weatherheads at least so we can get another beacon. If you didn't see my last episode, unfortunately, I lost one of my wither stars to lava. Yeah, that wasn't great. And then last but not least, the pièce de résistance. We are going to be building an Ender. Now, whilst Enders might not be the most efficient way of getting XP, it certainly is an incredibly efficient way of getting XP. So, with that in mind, I've got some materials here that I've collected. Glass, some cobble deep slate, lots of oak leaves. That you'll have seen in the time lapse at the beginning. And like I say, a few other bits of odds and sods here that I'm going to need to build this farm. I've got backups of a few things. I really don't want to run out of stuff and have to keep making trips back and forwards. So plenty of white carpet. The grass blocks here are mostly as temporary blocks in case I need them for anything. And then the ender pearls are to get an endermite because that is what's going to lure all the endermen into my little trap. Now, I have built a couple of enders in the past, and whilst they're relatively easy to build, they are incredibly nerve-wracking. Mostly because of the fact that you are literally 1 block away from the void. That's scary, especially given the fact that this is hardcore. I ain't coming back from this. So I'm definitely going to be giving my little finger a workout trying to hold that shift button down. But at least I don't have to worry about that for a little while yet. First off, we're going to go to the Nether and see what we can do about this Nether Hub. So this is my Nether spawn. It's not fantastic, but just down here and to the right was a fortress. So I got pretty lucky with that. That being said, I don't really want to be at Y level 56. I'd like to be a bit higher, mainly because we'll have easy access to the roof. But then when I'm building my spurs off to go in different directions to different areas, I've got a little bit more protection. So I think what I'm going to start off by doing is getting rid of this portal. And then I think I'm just going to build up till maybe Y level 100. That might be a good enough area to go to. Of course, digging up, you still have to be careful of lava and bits of other things, because you just never know when you're going to come across a lava pocket. And lava does run quite a bit faster in the nether, so you've really got to be careful. And there we are at Y level 100. This should be fine for now. So we'll just clear out a bit of a space. Okay, so we've got this area dug out. It's basically like an 11 by 11 by 7 or something, I think, like that. So this is a pretty decent sized room to get started off with. Now, obviously, I no longer have access to the fortress. So we're going to change that by, I think it was in this corner. I initially covered this up just because I didn't want to fall out of there. But now we can dig this out, and then we're going to make a quick bridge just going across here. The materials that we make this out of is not really of any importance at the moment, but we just need to get across to the other side, and then from here we can just drop down. Let's fill in these little bits. From here we can then start to make a bit of a bridge going back up again. So we'll do a bit of a staircase. Again, I'm really not worried about the materials that I'm using for this because it's all going to be covered up with stairs shortly. Put together this nice little, much safer kind of platform, because the last thing we want to do is fall off the edge of this. So we've covered this side up a little bit more, so I'm not just going to fall off, especially if I get hit by something. But I'm going to leave this section open here so that I can get down and have access to down there should we ever need to. Now we're going to make some cobbled stairs. There we go, much easier to get up and down now rather than having to keep jumping up blocks. Now what I will say is that I'm not going to be leaving this room looking like this. At some point in the future, I am going to be transforming this place entirely and make it look really nice and themed and a proper build. I don't want to just be leaving it with bits of blackstone, netherrack and basalt just kind of sticking out everywhere. It's going to have a proper theme and it's going to look like a proper build. Now I've had a couple of ideas as to how I want this place to look. Nothing particularly solid just yet. I haven't really done anything in a test world either, so but that is something I'm going to do in the near future. Now one of the things I want to do next is try and make a stairwell going down to the fortress. Now I know that the fortress is in this direction, I just don't know exactly where it is. So what I'm going to try and do is do a bit of exploring, maybe come off this side and just very carefully head on down. Okay, so well, we're probably not far off by the looks of things. What I want to do though is find this center block here. So along this axis, that's a Z axis, I think it is. This middle block is 85. Oh, the temptation to just go and kill him. So we're in agreement that that is 85, so I'm happy with that. So that means we could... I don't really know exactly where this is going to end up on the top of there either. So we'll stick with 85 for now, and then what I'm going to do is head back. I think the entrance was there? Yeah. Not so bad. Right, so the center block here is 80. So yeah, we weren't far off at all. 85. So theoretically speaking, that should then bring us down to the fortress. And that's going to be our easy and more secure way to get in. Okay, so we've managed to break through here, and I'm not really too sure exactly how to do this next part, so I think the best way is just to kind of wing it, really. I'm going to jump down here, and I'm just going to kind of make a temporary stair set, kind of going up there, see where it lands. I might be one block off, I really can't tell from this angle, so we're just going to have to wait and see. Oh, look at that. That was perfect. Well, wasn't expecting that, but yeah, that's gone quite well. So yeah, from here, I'm just going to fill in these blocks here. This is what's going to give us a nice solid stair set. And then from there, I can actually put the stair blocks on. Okay, so now we've got all of this nice and accessible. If we decide that we want to go and explore and look at some other nether-based things, either it be a warp forest, or a crimson forest, or a bastion, or even another fortress, we can go and find them, get the coordinates, and then add them to our tunnels that we're going to be doing from each of these areas. So as you can see from my minimap in the top left corner, we've got north, south, east, and west. Now, one of the things that I will be doing, hopefully quite soon in a future episode, is getting access to the nether roof, and then we're looking at building a gold farm. As the name suggests, gold farms are fantastic at getting gold, but they're also fantastic at getting XP. So if I decided that I didn't want to go to the ender for whatever reason, I can always go to the gold farm instead, and vice versa. But in addition to that, I also do want to get out of this basalt delta. I don't really like them. They're not so bad if you're doing just a bit of a nether hub. I mean, it's kind of immaterial for that. But when it comes to things like farms and also maybe looking for netherite or ancient debris, I'd much rather be in a nether waste biome. Basalt, unfortunately, is quite blast resistant, so it doesn't really give a good radius for that. So if we go to somewhere like I say, a nether waste, you're going to get much more impact and you're going to find ancient debris a lot quicker. But at least for now, we've made a start and have a plan as to what we want to do to this nether hub moving forward. But for now, let's go on another hunt for some wither skeleton skulls. I did find 2 more whilst I was kind of doing this and interacting with that fortress that's over there. So we're going to go back over this way down our brand new path that we made and hopefully see if we can find some wither skeletons. Dodging and weaving, dodging and weaving. Oh yes. And there is a wither skeleton there. We're just going to have to see how lucky we can get. Well, there's regular skeletons there, so we don't want those. Oh, that didn't go well. Oh. Oh, hello. I thought I heard something. I do get a bit nervous with this one, because you never know if it's just going to jump on your head. And still no luck on that respect. Hey, look at that. Return to sender. I've been wanting to get that one for a while. Having that mini-map in the top corner is a very useful tool. I'm just doing my best to sort of not rely on it too much. Not having the best of luck so far. Nearly fell for his trap. A couple more down here. Come on, lads. Hey, we've got another head there. With the 2 that I've got in my ender chest, that does make 3, but I'm thinking that we might be able to try for 6. Might take us a little while, but I'm prepared for it. So, he says, getting shot at. Oh, and another head. Blimey, that was relatively quick. I mean, obviously I'm not complaining. That's great news. Really don't want to hit these guys because I've got sweeping edge on here. The last thing you want when you're doing this type of thing is to have zombie piglins after you as well. It just makes things a lot more difficult. So I hear one moving about somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure where he is. That's another head. We've got 3. So I do believe all we need is 1 more. And that means we've got the potential to go and fight 2 more withers and get 2 more nether stars. And that is the last head that I needed. I got those relatively quick. I mean, considering before now oh, I mean, that's a lot of them. Yeah, before now, I've taken on many... See, we've got another one as well. What is going on? I've been here for hours sometimes in fortresses and just never come across anything. In fact, on the Kinship SMP server, when me and Jen before now have been looking for wither skeleton skulls, she seems to find them all and I just end up battling everything else, nearly dying. But yeah, she seems to have all the luck. So, I mean, if we were to get another one from this lot, it would be worth sticking around to try and get a 3rd one again. Come on, you. You should be stuck in there. There you go, pathfinding. There's one here. And another one there, look at that. So we've got 6 here, we've got 2 in my ender chest. That means I just need 1 more, and we can get a 3rd nether star. Therefore, a 3rd beacon. This is absolutely insane. I'm definitely sticking around for this. It's been very lucrative today, which I'm really happy about. That being said, I do want to just very quickly replenish my stocks. Oh, I haven't got my ender chest. I was going to replenish my stocks of rockets, just in case I get into a sticky situation. Because you never know. It seems to be okay for now. Out of all that lot, none of them give us one of the heads. And there it is. That is the 7th wither skeleton skull. Let's get out of here before something bad happens. I think that's a trip well done. So now it's time to do the thing that I've been kind of dreading the most. We've got to build this ender render. Unfortunately, ender renders can be quite dangerous to build, especially when you're on a hardcore world. So we're going to take this a little bit slower. We're going to take it one step at a time, and hopefully we'll survive. Now, as you can see, I've got some resources here, the redstone box, a few odds and sods in there, glass, building blocks. Oak leaves are non-spawnable blocks, so the endermen aren't going to be able to actually spawn on these because we're going to use it as the bridge. But unfortunately, they are going to be able to transfer over to it. So if they fall down and then teleport, they can land on it there. There is a way of preventing this by potentially using water, but I'm not really too sure how confident I am about using that. So we'll see how it goes. As I say, plenty of building blocks so that we can build this platform. I'm going to use glass in this so that we can actually see the enderman falling from the top. So that should be a nice touch. And like I say, a few odds and sods here to kind of make it a little bit more homely. Now, one of the things that we are going to do once we get to the end is get more ender pills, because unfortunately that might not be enough to get the endermite that we need to lure them in, because we put the endermite into the minecart and then the endermen see and want to attack the endermite and then they fall in the hole. But that being said, we can't delay this any longer. Let's get going. Now, one of the things that I did in between clips that I didn't show you guys is actually link up through the nether, my end nether portal, which is over this way. So I'll kind of head down this way. Hello, Bernie. So luckily it's not too far away and we're just heading here. Again, I will do something with this area at some point to make it a bit nicer. But it does in fact bring us out straight to the portal room, which is really nice. Now, I know that I haven't actually gone through this stronghold yet. I haven't actually really looked through it much because we actually came through here. So maybe at some point I will tackle this entire stronghold and see what loot it's hiding. But in the meantime, it's time to go back to the end. And of course, I've looked at an enderman straight away. And I've looked at two. Oh, this is going great already. Oh dear. I might have to just sort of go out of render distance and then come back again. When you're flying in the void and there's no islands to give you any kind of reference, unfortunately you do have to keep an eye on your Y coordinate. Make sure that you are, oh, hang on. Yeah, make sure that you are staying above Y level 100. That's a good kind of basis to keep an eye on. But what we're looking to do first is find the furthest point of the end island, which I think is going to be around about here. And we could do it down there. That might be slightly safer, maybe. So first off, we're going to need a lava bucket and a water bucket. First of all, you put the lava down. I'll do it there. Now that's just going to travel all the way down to the top of the void. So it's going to take a few minutes to do that. So that's looking to me like it's stopped now. Right, so then we put a water block here. That turns into obsidian, and then the rest of it should, theoretically, turn into cobblestone. That's very satisfying to watch. Now, this is the most nerve-wracking part, because if I fail at this bit, that's it, potentially game over. So, rockets on hand. So now what I've got to do is travel down this water stream. Yeah, that's really nerve-wracking. And then when I get to the very end of it, I've got to try and put these oak leaves down right at the bottom. Now, bear in mind that one block below the very edge of this is the starting of the void, and I will start to take damage. Wow, why am I doing this? Here goes nothing. Now I've got to make sure that I don't drown at the same time. Now, I do have aqua affinity, so we should be okay, but we are getting to the edge now. And I think he's got it. I think he's got it. Oh! Whew! That is very nerve-wracking to do that. I'm just going to ladder all the way back up. This just gives it a bit more of a secure way to get down rather than having to fly all the time. And we can get rid of the water source now. And then from here, that means that we can start taking some of these resources that we need and then start to build the actual farm. So we're technically not out of the woods yet. We've still got some very dangerous parts of this farm to build. So with my pinky right on the shift key, we've now got to build out 128 blocks. Now, this is technically classed as one. It's technically like, it's 2 stacks. We'll see how this goes. Wish me luck, guys. This next bit is a little bit tricky because we've got to build a 9x9. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side, and then 4 on the other. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then all the way around. And then we're just going to fill this in to the point where it is 3 by 3 all the way around. Or at least we have a 3 by 3 section in the center. That being said, I think what I'm going to do next is just add a border around the edge because I really just don't want to fall off. And there we go. Admittedly, the Better Leaves texture pack's really not doing me any favors right now. That stuff is getting in my way, but oh well. Right. So I feel a little bit more secure about this. Now I can put the rest of our shulkers down. These are all our building materials. At least when we come to break them later, they're not going to kind of fly off the side and potentially get lost in the void. Okay, so next we're going to put in the dropper system for the ender pearls because this farm generates a huge amount of ender pearls, more than we'll ever need. So a lot of them to save on lag. You just drop off into the void. You just need to position this just right. If we just build out one. Will this do the trick? There we go. Fill that back in and also get rid of that. And then from here we're going to put in the hoppers. We're going to cover this lot in carpet. Then to actually activate the dropper, we're going to put an observer here, an observer there, and then a sticky piston. Should go here, a lever here, and then when you hit this, you can hear that clicking. So then when this gets filled up with ender pearls, it's just going to zero tick them straight out into the void. Super quick. Now, I know that we said we need to get some more ender pearls to make sure that we definitely get an endermite, but one of the other things that we need to do is actually name the endermite. So I've got an anvil here and a name tag. Obviously, I brought a spare just in case, and we've got to name the little critter. Now, I was trying to come up with a bunch of different names, really trying to find something that was a bit funny, a little bit quirky, something that other people may not have come up with before. And I thought, I'm a pretty big fan of Family Guy, so I thought this might be a funny one to go with. But yeah, I am going to try and do the job with 15 ender pearls. If that doesn't work, then yeah, we've got tons of endermen knocking around that we can just go and try and get a few more with. But without further ado, let's jump into a quick time lapse and get this main centerpiece done. Okay, so now we've got this platform filled in, we're going to need to add the trapdoors, which kind of signifies to the mobs that there's a full block in front of them when there actually isn't, so they are more likely to just walk off the edge, almost like that guy just did. And just, yeah, just like that. Then the more annoying part now is that we've got to get the endermite in its place. So we need to build 1, 2, and... oh. Well, that's what happens when you don't pay attention. That's what happens when endermen take the blocks away from you. So, right, let's try that again. Let's use it out of a different block that endermen aren't going to just take away from me. Right, there we go. So that's 1, 2, and 3 blocks up. Then from here we need to put an iron bar. On top of the iron bar we need a white carpet, just like so. And then from here, we'll use deep slate for this because otherwise these endermen are just going to keep taking things. Okay, so we've got this little box here, and then we can put in a rail on this side. So here is where the endermite is actually going to drop down. Get our ender pearls and our minecart at the ready. Also, we need to get the name tag as well, because as soon as this thing spawns in, we need to tag it and then get it into the minecart. Now, I've just thought, actually, that unfortunately, endermites are actually quite strong. So to stop me from dying, I am just going to have a golden apple, just to make sure that nothing bad happens. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully these 15 will at least yield 1. Unfortunately, not the case. So, Right, so we've got plenty of ender pearls now. That should hopefully do the trick. Okay, so we are in fact going to try this again. Golden apple, ender pearls. We are really not having any luck here. Oh, there it is. And it is tagged and in. Oof. Down to our last ender pearl as well. That's so weird. There he goes. And then we cover him up with the carpet. Still incredibly nerve-wracking because I really don't want anything to start attacking me. So let's get rid of some of these extra blocks now. And then that theoretically should be it. They can all now see the endermite. And there we have it. A fully working enderman farm. They keep spawning in and then they see the endermite. They go running towards it and they fall into this hole. Now I know that there's one or two. There he goes. There's one or two that were too close to see him. So now that they've gone, everyone seems to be wanting to jump in now. So I can come down to the bottom where there should be a nice... Oh, that was nearly a problem. So I've got all these guys now sat here. I should be able to just hit them and get a ton of XP. Now, as you can tell, we're going to get a ton of ender pearls from this, and they're all getting filtered into this dropper. So then, if we take these ones out, because we're going to want those, I'll flick the switch, and you can see them being just pumped out there. So any extras that we don't want could just continuously get pumped out into the void. They'll then despawn, and we don't get any lag. But that's just about going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to subscribe for more videos like this, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye for now.